How have either of you done any of the brewing or anything like that outside of Utah?
In terms of
Just
commercial or like
anything.
working with other breweries?
Working with other breweries. So mostly looking for, is Utah becoming a more friendly state towards beer and towards brewing and towards that business aspect, or is it still pretty difficult, or just anything that like, this is...
Yes and no.
Okay.
Okay, so since I've started the brewery, we've had a lot of changes.
Yeah.
You know, we couldn't do a package agency to sell beer to go, High Point beer to go, when I first started the brewery.
Yeah.
I mean, that was something that came about because of the High West Distillery, wanting to be able to sell to tourists up in Park City.
Park City and Washington.
Right? And not go to a liquor store. They wanted to sell direct to consumer. Yeah. And they got those laws passed to allow breweries and wineries to do that as well. So thank you, High West.
Wow, I didn't know that High West was kind of the pusher for that.
Yeah. He actually, you kind of work near there.
The resort that I work on, one of the High West distilleries is on it. Same property. It's a big ranch.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that was them. So obviously that is a benefit to the breweries because of that happened, and that wasn't when we first started almost 11 years ago now. Yeah. And then obviously 4 to 5% has gone up, so they've gotten rid of 3.2 beer. So when people come in and say, "Oh, I don't want weak beer," you know, it's not weak beer, right? If you didn't want weak beer, then don't buy grocery store beer, go to the liquor store, and you can buy anything wrong. It's just an education kind of thing.
You know, the same time they did that, though, I noticed that they also dropped the DUI from 0.08 to 0.05.
Yes. They did that.
I was like, I see what you did there.
And raised the tax.
They raised the taxes on us when it went up from the grocery store out. So another thing people don't realize, the taxes went up during that happened. So
Utah is the second biggest tax on beer. The whole nation.
It's pretty high. Yeah, it's
interesting.
And we really we're really double taxed. So what ends up happening is we get taxed at the manufacturing level. So for every 31 gallons of beer that we make, we pay $13.10 for every 31 gallons in tax.
Okay.
So
almost $1 per case.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a chunk.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's just manufacturing tax. Now, if we sell the beer over to the package agency and sell it to direct consumer, add another 20% on top of that, between federal and state.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
Wow.
So not only $13.10 per gallon, now we get taxed at 16% on the selling price of the beer. So not just manufacturing, the manufacturing aspect of the beer, sales price. So if we sell a can for, say, our Kvik Series Pina Colada at $3.50, I get taxed 16% on top of $3.50.
Jesus, 16% on it? That's, on top of everything else too. In the end, what's to come out in the end of that?
And then the federal government, nice for the federal government. The federal government just made actually a tax cut permanent for the breweries, distilleries, and wineries, and it dropped their taxes from $7 for every 31 gallons to $3.50.
Cut it in half.
So cut
that
it
was on
half,
the federal level.
And that's at the federal level, and that we were able to hire another person because they did that.
Wow.
Nice.
Right? What kills jobs is regressive taxation, which Utah has for the manufacturing breweries. We paid last year.
Money's got to come out of somewhere.
We're not a big brewery. We paid last year basically overall taxation-wise between the ABC tax at the city level for licensing fees. Licensing fees for our brewery license, all that stuff. That's all tax, right?
Yeah.
They call it a licensing fee. It's tax.
Yeah.
It's just tax.
Right?
Yeah.
They use a different term for it.
Yeah.
All that stuff was 10% of our gross sales. 10% of gross sales goes to tax and fees.
Crap, of gross too.
Gross.
Wow. That's a huge.
Think
chunk.
about that, right?
Yeah.
How do you stay in business with thin margins when they chop off 10%?
Just right off the top.
Right off the top, 10%.
Yeah. Well, again, how do you keep people employed?
Let me put it this way: if we did not have those taxes at 10%, or if they were nominal, right, like every other business pays, and we were treated like every other business, we'd probably be able to add at least 3 FTEs to our bottom line, three full-time equivalents.
That's crazy.
And pay them above average wages.
Yeah.
Not just like you know,
Well,
what
that's
the minimum wage.
good
Yeah.
perspective to put it in too. I mean, think of it. People just think of it as just the dollar value. Think of it as 3 people's jobs.
Yeah,
That's
three
that's
people.
crazy.
Which the salary go back in taxes and
Yeah.
go back to the market and turn on the economy and
Yeah,
generate
yeah.
taxes. So it's a way to generate revenue to
Mm-hmm.
the tax.
Exactly, but they just want to do it the
Biggest way for them.
They penalize us. Basically, is what they're doing.
how dare you? How dare you brew beer and sell?
That's basically what the legislature does to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
And it's
things.
unfortunate because we are providing service not only for Utah and citizens of Utah, we also distribute outside the state of Utah. Now, granted, when we do ship beer outside the state of Utah, we pay the tax that we ship into.
Right.
So we do get fortunately for us, it makes sense for us to send more beer outside the state than it does.
Yeah, you make
inside the
more
state.
money off that because you're not getting.
Right.
It's not
But the
getting
fact
cut
is
into.
because we're in our home market, we sell way more beer in our
Yeah.
home market than
Right.
we do outside. So that still, even if we're going to sell outside the market, that 10% still hits us pretty hard.
Yeah.
But when you
Of
ask
course.
about Utah and how the marketing here in beer, it's easy to see now they went to 5%. More than 25 or 30% of the beer categories are now in the range. So when you're gonna buy now a beer at a grocery store and you're gonna buy our premium lager, a premium lager goes between 4.8 and 5.2. So we are in the range of that. Now all our beers are on style. So
Yeah.
the whole idea of Utah has a weak beer. Now we are on style comparable to everywhere else where the laws are different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now it's the same, man. It's just as
And if you go to the brewery like us, where we have the club license, you can buy on draft those under 5, but on cans you can buy that up to 13, 14. Utah doesn't have any rules. We have a 13%.
Yeah.
We have a 13% beer.
okay. Wow, really?
Yeah.
Holy
Belgian
moly,
quad.
that'll do the trick right there.
Well, we can try right now. If
I
you guys
would
want.
love
Yeah.
to try
Yeah.
13%.
That's delicious. But
Don't threaten me with a good time, all right? So.
I was wondering. So I don't
There's
know.
always
the,
Uber, right?
Yeah.
exactly.